All right, I want to welcome all of you today to our Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates. It is August of 2022 at the midday, and so glad to have you on board. This is my presentation number 976, so I'm well on the way to 1,000. Hopefully this fall we'll hit 1,000 and celebrate that. But it's been a pleasure, a 14-year journey, and I welcome you on board with me, and I thank you for letting me join you guys on your journey. I want to tell you that I'm not a lawyer and I'm not an accountant. I am here as someone that's been in business, owning my own businesses and operating them for more than 63 years. So I'm offering you a lot of free advice today. First piece of the free advice I give you is always get a second or a third opinion before you make a major decision that affects your financial security or that of your business. And a really good place to get second and good opinions is from your small business centers at the community college. If you're not in the Kinston area that is sponsoring us this afternoon, by letting me know where you are, and if you'd like to be in touch with your small business center close to you, I'll be glad to send them a letter of introduction or give you the information of how to reach the small business centers over there. Because those directors and the staff at the centers are pros. They've got a lot of good information. And the good news is, number one, totally confidential, that nobody's going to be looking over your shoulder. And number two, they just are experts and have a world of different things that they can offer you. Many startup entrepreneurs actually use that small business center as kind of like employees, because you can, if you don't, you're missing a really great opportunity to do so. Thank you to the Lenoir Community College at Kinston for facilitating this program. Lenoir is right there in the center of the state, as I'm showing you on the map there, over towards the coast, about 80 miles from the coast, about 80 miles from Raleigh as well. So Kinston's a really beautiful place and a good place to visit as well. The director there is Greg Hannibal. His number is listed here with his email address. So you can always come back to the recording and write this down if you don't have it so far. I want to encourage y'all that hopefully you did register with Greg and he's emailed you the handouts. Y'all want to give me a nod as far as whether or not you got your handouts or not? Were they emailed to you? Okay, well, handouts are very important in my series because I'll show you I offer a lot of information. And if the directors have not been able to email it to you, that may mean that you did not get registered properly. But as long as I have your email address, and it looks like all of you so far has given it to me on the chat board here, I'll send you the handouts as well after the program. But here's Greg, and is a really great fellow. Look forward to working with you as well. He does have a request that he will send you a questionnaire as to getting feedback on the webinar, and would appreciate you sending that feedback on back to him. These are free. We need to help the small business centers keep this program going alive, and they do need that feedback to justify and keep their budgets operating. The study guides that are available for today is number 976, which basically covers all the talking points we're going to have here today, including the slides. There'll be a study guide that's called 40 Main Street Drill Skills. That's where I've offered videos and lots of information with 40 different ways that you can improve your tool belt to help you get your business started. I get a lot of very positive feedback back from these through the years. You'll enjoy it very much. You'll have a study guide on fair market value, marketable profit centers, which I stress in my classes. Also, a study guide that shows you 50 different businesses that you can start with $100 or less, just as an ideal builder, something to give you some ideas that maybe you can use those to create new profit centers within your business to make it happen.
Green stuff floating in it?
And
the green stuff floating in it?
Hey, Mr. Hannibal, how are you this afternoon?
I'm much better now, Mr. Steve.
Well, it's good to have you on board. We got a great group of ladies on board with us, maybe some gentlemen I can't identify, but what's perking over in Kinston?
Well, we're trying to rock, but I think we might just roll. We'll see. We've been having rolling thunderstorms for the last couple of days, and it's kind of crazy. It seems like they don't start until I leave my office. As soon as I stick my head outside, it starts raining. So I just come on back and work, and everybody else gets the sunshine.
There you go.
But today is a beautiful day. We've got some great stuff to learn today about how to start a small business. Look at those faces. Look at y'all. It's a happy day. You get to meet Steve Carver, and I will tell you, people tell me I'm the man sometime, and I say, no, I'll be the man till the man shows up. Well, Steve Carver just showed up, and y'all going to have a terrific time. You're going to learn a lot. Practical application information, and he knows what he's talking about. I thank you all for signing up. I'm going to send out a survey, just an evaluation thing. After this session, I want you all to fill it out and return it to me. Please do that. That helps me get my funding, and it helps me determine what kind of offerings we're going to put out there in the future. Now, Steve, are you gonna? I don't have my video on. That's for the benefit of all the attendees. I might stick it in every now and then, and you'll see everybody join in the chat that they need a break. So,
you're a good guy.
I'm going to be in and out as always, but I've got my eye on you.
If you see anyone asking questions on the chat board, just interrupt me if you would, and we'll try to answer them as we go.
Let me make sure I got my screen going there. Let me do that. Hey, you all. Greg loves you.
Thank you, Greg. And Sheila, as I saw that you've come on board, welcome. Glad to have you on board with us. If you would go to your chat board and type in your email address, so we'll have the advantage
Donnie
of that.
Jones.
Okay. Glad to have you on board as well. So here we go to your study guides that Greg's going to send to you after he gets your email address. We've been talking about those. The last one I didn't mention is some tips on how to name your business or your domain. So let's make sure you get those study guides. If you haven't gotten them yet, let us know. We'll email them to you. The chat board, please use it. That's a way that you can ask me for different information or questions, and use it. We do a lot of communicating that way. After I sign off this afternoon, I'll go back and copy all the different information related to the chat boards. Whoever's coming up on the board is restricted. Please type your name in on the chat so we'll have the advantage of that, as well as your email address. So let's get started, okay? You see those knuckles right there? I like to start
Can
this.
I ask a question? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt. I am on a conference call. Is that what everybody else is on?
That's correct.
Like this. Oh, it's not a Zoom option?
Well, we can mute our mics, but everyone can participate at before and after the presentation.
Free conference call is the name of this particular platform.
That's right.
It's just Zoom is another name for a different platform, but that's the name of this platform.
Oh, okay. So the only way I can hear this is through this phone call. There's nothing to see. Am I correct? I'm okay either way. I just wanted to make sure.
If you're on your phone, you can't give us video.
Okay, can I do it on my computer?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
the information for the computer join in is right there in the same letter, the email that I sent you. You must have clicked on the one for the phone.
I think I did. I will go out and try to come back in and I'm sorry to hold up everybody, but so it would be Zoom then?
No, it'll still be free conference call. Just in the email that I sent you, there'll be a link to join in. That is the link for your computer access.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
And
sorry
no problem.
Be seeing you soon.
That's all right. Everybody has to have a first time. Glad to have you on board.
No, maybe not, because that's confusing. I'm just going to stay on the phone.
All right.
It's one click and you're in.
All right. Let me ask you all now to mute your mics. We're going to get started. And again, except Greg, will stay on board. And if you have want to ask a question, just type it in the chat board and he'll interrupt me and let me know. Okay, back to the getting started now. Perfect timing. It's 15 minutes into it. It's time to get started. White knuckles. Anyone ever had white knuckles? I've had them a time or two, especially when I was riding a roller coaster. And you know, in 2022, after COVID the last 2 years and with the economy going up and down, starting a new business is kind of like riding a roller coaster with the way it goes up and down and different things. And we all just want to hold on as tight as we can. And I certainly do that in my businesses because it's scary sometimes. But the reason that you're here today, whether you know it or not, is I want to, and Greg wants to, give you enough confidence and information that you're going to put in your business tool belt to let you be able to relax those white knuckles a little bit and start and grow your business in a very good and sustainable way. Basically, this program this afternoon is based on a book that I wrote about 5 or 6 years ago called 24 Things You Must Know in Starting a Business. The handout that we're going to send to you will have a lot more information than what I had time to put on our slides for our presentation today. So that's why it's important for you to get that handout so you'll get basically the manuscript of my book. My story, I'm coming to you after being in business for 63 years and just happy to be able to share information with you. My businesses are mainly being related to farm equipment, where we actually had a bricks and mortar dealerships for 50 years and sold those about 15 years ago, and now do all my business on the internet at carverequipment.com. I serve nationwide and have done so for a lot of years with happy and thankful to say that we have a very good business with thousands of customers. So I'm coming to you from someone that's been there and done that. It isn't that I wrote a book and decided I'd tell you about it, but I've done the work. I've got the t-shirts to prove it. I've taken the risk, and I understand how difficult it is and how rewarding it is to have a small business that can become sustainable. In addition to selling equipment, 12 other businesses I've been involved in was doing grounds maintenance and landscaping and lawn mowing. I've done a lot of different types of government contracting, including working at airports, working with the Army. I am a veteran, very proud of my veteran service, and so thankful for all of you guys who are and ladies that are veterans and appreciate the sacrifices that are made. But I've worked for the Army before and understand how government contracting works, so I'm able to help folks that are starting those kind of businesses. If we were doing a seminar down at Kinston this afternoon, this is about what you'd be seeing. I probably wouldn't have my sweater on, but I enjoy doing classroom work, person to person, and that's coming back a little bit now. But still, it seems like more people are enjoying the webinars and come to the seminars, so we're happy to serve you any way that we can. The Small Business Network, the Small Business Centers are at each of the community colleges across North Carolina, so there is one near you. And again, if you're not in the Kinston area or in Eastern North Carolina and want me to put you in touch with the center that's closest to you, I'll be glad to do that, as would Greg if you want to ask him to do it. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes. We don't talk a lot this afternoon, 400 or 500 different items over about 100 slides, but I don't put what I want you to hang on to first. So if you've got a notepad out, if you're taking notes as we speak, here's a few things that I want you to take time to write in, because these are not in your handout. Things that are, I don't spend quite as much time on. But some tips for folks that are just getting started. Things that I want you to know that are more important than all the other world that you'll find in entrepreneurship. Number one, plan for the unexpected. It's not going to be a smooth road. It will be a bumpy road. There will be bumps in the road. plan for the unexpected. I'm putting that right up here, right up front. And also plan for it to take longer than you thought it would take to get your business started, because it always does. But there's going to be some things we can't cover. The advantages of you attending these webinars and seminars is I will and other presenters will do all that we can to help prepare you to have less and less unexpected. Next, while you're thinking you're going to be in it by yourself, none of us can be in business by ourselves. It don't work, because being in business means you're creating relationships with other people to exchange services and money and products. So know that you're going to have people around you that you have to trust. Not only your customers, but your vendors, your suppliers, maybe some counselors or coaches or mentors. Just know right this afternoon and accept the fact and look forward to the fact of building a team of people that you can trust. Now, I can tell you right now, our Association of Entrepreneurs and Associates, the Academy, is one place that you can become a part of a team of people that have common denominators as you do and that you can share with them. I'm very thankful and proud to have been able to create and start this, because it's really growing at this point in time. Expect things to go wrong from time to time. Yes, we can put a good plan in place, a great plan in place, but circumstances change and things will go wrong. It's just not, again, not going to be a smooth ride. But, you know, at the end of the world, at the end of the game, it's all about your determination to stay in the game, because only those people who stay in it long enough to understand how it all ties together, to understand the learning curves that we have to go through on everything in life, and especially in entrepreneurship, you got to be willing to stay with it long enough to be successful, and that doesn't do it. Now, in this fall, I'm going to be focusing on the entire fall series. Will always come back to talking about endurance. In church a few Sundays ago, our minister down at Elizabethtown, North Carolina, the Foundation Church there, he's been doing a series of sermons, and the title is Endurance. Now, of course, he's talking about in the sermons what you have to do in your faith and your to maintain your relationship with Christ. But I've been listening to that and taking notes, and you know the same things apply. And I plan to use this endurance theme all the way through the fall, because it's so important to have endurance. Endurance allows you to finish at the end, to have a strong finish at the end. And in small businesses, that's what we want to do, is to have a strong finish at the end. So how do you get there? Well, there's a lot of important factors, but there's 5 we'll focus on that I want you to be thinking about. Thinking about that in the next few weeks, about how you can, number 1, pace yourself. Pace yourself at your own pace to make this thing happen for you. I can encourage you and motivate you, but only you know how fast you can go to feel comfortable. Number 2, we have to humble ourselves and say to ourselves, I don't know it all. I might be smart. I might know how to make the best widget or gadget or be the best child care person in the whole state. I may know how to do a lot of things really well. I see that Judy Rogers is with us from over at Lillington, North Carolina, and she can make the very best kettle corn that's ever been made, and she knows how to design a great tent and bring people into that. But that doesn't mean that Judy knows how to run a business. That doesn't mean that Judy knows all there is to know about marketing. None of us do. So humble yourself. And I have to do that every day, because y'all bring good questions to me, and I find out how much I don't know every day. Except the fact, let's put on the learning cap and learn what we can. Next, find an inspiration. Find something that really helps move you forward in a very positive way, whether it be a person or a dream that you have. But know that inspiration is so important. Some of us don't get much encouragement from home. Some of us might not get much encouragement from your spouse. But you have to find something that really motivates you and goes for the door. I don't do my best to be an inspiration for you, because at 75 years old, I still love it. And I find enough stuff to be inspired about to make it work. What inspires me is you allow me to be a part of your journey. So, yeah, I'm glad to sit here and ride along with you and help you as we go. But find your inspiration. And then, of course, if you got the old belly like Papa Steve-O here's got, I can always say to myself, drop a few pounds. So I'm saying to you, I want you to drop a few pounds too. Not necessarily your weight, maybe that's a non-factor with you, but we need to drop a few pounds of baggage. We've all got baggage that we're carrying along in our mind or reasons we can't make this happen. Maybe it's a few pounds of procrastination. Anybody got any of that on board? I know I do from time to time. Maybe it's a few pounds of stubbornness. Maybe it's a few pounds of fear. Let's be willing to drop a few pounds and just say, I'm going to do it. And lastly, we've done all these things so that we can achieve focusing on the finish line. Now, what is the finish line? Now, of course, our preacher the other day, his finishing line was all about going to heaven. But I'm telling you today, in talking in entrepreneurship, our finish line is to have a sustainable business that one day you can look at yourself, as Judy right now is able to do because I've worked with her for a while. When you can look at yourself and say, I've done a lot, I've had some good days and bad days, but I can say to myself, I am an entrepreneur and I've got a sustainable business that tomorrow, if I stay with my plan, I'm going to be able to stay in business. And you know what, my friends? That's why we're here today, is to help you get to a point that you can say, I have started a business that is sustainable. When you achieve that, we all will be successful. My job is to be assertive and to try to motivate you in that way. And I don't promise you I will do all that I can. Not that I want to step on your toes, but I do want you to put your toes in the water and let's get started. Maybe you've already started a business and getting started isn't your issue today. So to all of you out there that have already started your business and just trying to see what you can do with it, the question is, what priorities are you willing to make to make a positive change in your business? Because that's what it's going to come down to. You're the boss. You're in charge. You're making the plan. So what are the priorities that you're going to change to make this move forward? And when you accept the fact and you're humble enough to say, I can change these priorities and therefore I can make a difference. Normally the priorities are, can you list 5 profit centers in this business you're getting ready to start? A profit center, and you got a handout on this, that if you don't have it, it's coming to you. A profit center is something you're doing in your business that creates money that you can market separately. And I want each business to have at least 5 profit centers, and we'll jump into this later. But this subject is so important, it's going to be talked about in every webinar and seminar that I present. This is something new that I've started because for the first time, after I have taught it for so many years, that a business owner needs to have a mission and a vision statement, so that he or she has taken the time to write down, to put in your words what you're trying to achieve as a business person, what your entrepreneurship is going to mean to the world. And you do this through some simple statements and purposes. But you know what? I had been teaching this, I had been preaching this, but I hadn't done it myself in my own businesses. Well, I have done that now, and I can tell you that it is making a difference for me every day of my life, because I tell other people what my mission, vision, and promise statements are and share that. We'll actually probably do a series of seminars on these later on. I also like to say you need to have a purpose what you're doing and be willing to write it down. So as far as the Academy of Entrepreneurs Associates go, I put it in writing that here's what we believe. We believe that entrepreneurs have the possibilities and the ability to improve lives and solve problems and to improve the quality of your communities. And we as a group, and I'm proud to be associated with you, we believe that when small businesses are sustainable, strong, opportunities for better jobs and more creation of enterprises will thrive and local economies will grow. That's a purpose. Write that down. What is the purpose of your business? Put it in writing. And the Academy, what is our mission? To provide entrepreneurs a safe landing place, a supportive platform as we are here today sharing this, and to help entrepreneurs complete the projects. And here's the key: complete the projects so that your dreams can become realities. I believe that, and I want to invite you to believe it along with the Academy members. Vision, I want us to be a viable organization of strong entrepreneurs and mentors and advisors, all working together, dedicated to mutual helpfulness. I'll tell you that that's what all the small business centers do, and that's one reason I'm glad that I can work with them and for them. And maybe you had heard of vision and mission statements before, but I'm going to bring in the promise statement because I think it's just as important. It has made a major difference for me and our businesses because I want us to promise to encourage all the members to set and maintain high ethical management standards. Not just to be in business like the rest of the herd, but to be above higher standards that you're going to set, and to encourage all of our associates here. That's what we will become together, to be active in the community and in your service organizations and religious organizations in your community. In other words, I want to take Entrepreneur Street from Main Street right into where people are volunteering and helping their communities. And when you do that, you're going to expand your horizons and your business will have a better chance to become sustainable. I even wrote a pledge for what our entrepreneurs and associates will be doing, and I'll share that with you in an email later on. Next, do those statements if you can, as soon as you can, and we'll work on them all through the fall. I want you to know that YouTube videos are the most impressive and powerful thing that's going on in today's world of marketing for entrepreneurs. So if you're not into how to make a YouTube video with your telephone or on your computer screen, it's going to be one of those skills that you're going to have to be an effective marketer. And that's all I'm going to say about it now, but we spend lots of time on how to make videos and such as that as we get into the fall season. Again, we're basing the rest of our program this afternoon on my book called 24 Things You Must Know When Starting a Business. It's available on Amazon, but you really don't have to get it because your handout is pretty much a manuscript of the book. If you're going to a new coach, like if you were visiting Greg this afternoon and for the first time, he would have a certain number of questions that he would want to ask you. Kind of a group of questions, some 35 of them actually. I'm going to go through a few of them this afternoon so that not to have you tell me the answer, but you tell yourself, because it's important that you understand where you're headed. So first of all, are you going to be personally active in the business? That is, are you going to be the one that's face-to-face with your customer, or are you planning on hiring other people that's going to be face-to-face with the customer? Why do I ask that? Because if you're going to be the one that's face-to-face with the customer and doing business, you're going to need a certain amount of skill sets. You're going to need a certain amount of mindsets so that you can do that successfully. If you're going to hire other people to do that, then you're going to need another set of skill sets and mindsets and tools. So when you determine that, then you'll be better suited to know what your next steps will be to prepare yourself. Full-time or part-time? You got a full-time job already that's giving you a nice salary, some benefits, some insurance. Hang on to it. But if you're ready to move forward and start a part-time job or a second income or two, let's think about that. But it needs to be one or the other, so that you'll put a business plan together which will suit that particular style of doing business, because it would take a different business plan whether you're full-time or part-time. Are you going to be home-based, mobile, and internet business, have brick-and-mortar storefronts, or maybe some combination of all the above? Which suits you? Or maybe it's all of them. I've been involved in all these different types. Like this afternoon, you would say that I am home-based because I'm sitting at home doing this work. But if I were at your community college giving a seminar, then I would be mobile, right? Since I'm home-based, I'm also talking through the internet. So I'm a home-based internet right now as we speak. Define how you're going to be able to make your business work, because each one of these different types will involve different business plan components. Your business plan has to come together to cover your whole work. So let's determine if you're going to be one or two or three of these different type businesses. What date would you like to be able to say my business is up and running? I've got my marketing plan in gear and I'm ready to serve customers. We need that date so that we can determine what has to happen before we get to that date. Like if you want to have your business up and running January 1st, 2023, we'll need to have a different type of planner to get you there starting today. But if you're 2024 January, then we'll have a few more opportunities to plan for events and put dates beside of them. Being willing to set dates on your plan is a part of your commitment. Remember that endurance. Endurance starts with you setting a date at a starting point, a starting point in this race. What date do you want to start the race? But what we're asking here is what date do you want to finish this first portion of the race, which is getting started, and how are we going to get there? When we have our second seminar in our series, is called Creating That Business Plan. We do two things. We create a planner, which is a 6-month planner, what steps you have to take to get started. And then we'll look at a longer term business plan that involves in what is the overall picture. But most important is getting a planner dedicated, because sometimes you actually have to be in business a while before you can write a real business plan. So we talk about how to achieve that as well. Have you listed down the products and the services or the information that you plan to be selling? Oftentimes we do some of all this, products, services, and information before we start selling. So have you made that list? We're going to need it, because every different item on here will be a different slot in your business plan. Now, kind of a private subject, but we got to talk about it, is your present credit score or debt paying history one that would encourage a lender to loan you money? How are you coming along with your credit? Do you have credit? Are you a senior citizen and have retired from a number of jobs and don't get a W-2 form anymore? Well, if that's the case, like me, of course I haven't retired, but I don't get W-2 forms anymore. It makes it very difficult for you to loan money if you're not bringing in a regular salaried income. You have to create your financial statement a different way. If you're very young and hadn't had a chance to build up a credit history, it makes it very difficult to borrow money. So what is your situation now? And what would you need to be that if you started your business, what changes, what tools would you have to have in place to encourage a lender to loan you money? Good credit score and a good debt paying history, you're in good shape, ready to go. Otherwise, you might want to ask me to send you a handout, a study guide I've got to address these issues. We've already talked about writing the mission, vision, and promise statements. That's going to be very, very important for you. What does that say to, what are that statements saying? What will your company do for the community? What will your new business do for the customers? What will the new business do for its employees and for the owner? And what are the owner's goals and the company's goals and standards? That's really where you spell it out, what you believe in, and then you're ready to back it up. Do you have a coach, a mentor, advisor, or counselor? Do you have someone that you can share with on a regular basis, ask questions such as that? I want to encourage you to do it. It is so important that you're able to discuss ideas and bounce things off the wall back and forth, get a good feel for them, because a lot of ideas that once we put them out here and talk about them and share them back and forth, maybe they need to go back in the oven and cook some more. That's why it's important that you have someone that you can share and work with. Again, that is a function for our Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates. And if you attend enough of these seminars and get to know other people on the other side of the chat board here, you'll find you can get a lot of feedback from your small business directors that will make a world of difference in helping you get your business started. Excuse me. Now, how can a business become sustainable and last a long, long time? If you're going to build a strong building, you want a good foundation under it, right? Well, a good foundation under a new business is a diversification of products and service. That is, you've got enough going on that you can serve a lot of different customers, a lot of different groups of customers over the entire year, not a month or two. So how are your products and service diversified? When I talk to you individually or asking you about your business plan or your services, that's going to be an important thing that we talk about. What's your diversification? And that comes back to, do you have different profit centers that will be attractive to different groups of customers? Another part of the foundation to have your long endurance going on is from day one, know that you need a positive attitude and a determination and boundless energy, because this is what's going to require to kick off and get a new business motivated and started up. Chapter 3 indicates, and we talk about, I want you to think about your personal income goals. What you want to bring in, you're starting this new business to do what, income-wise? You've got your living expenses, your rental payments, insurance payments, and things like that, and they're always going to have to be paid. So now you're thinking about two incomes. First of all, your business income will be a certain amount, but from that, how much personal income are you going to take for yourself? The business has to survive too, and if you're taking everything out of it, the businesses aren't going to make it. So know up front what you're expecting, your expectations are, and that way, as you build that business plans, you'll be able to make it work. Business revenues are very, very important. And we're not in the business planner, planning the mileposts that your company's going to go through, have a good idea on certain dates how much revenue the business is going to be generated. How do we do that? We do it with the business plan. The business plan will help us determine what's left after we take our projected income. Then from that, subtract our projected cost to know how much money is left, and that will be helping you to achieve your goals. That small start with a solid foundation is important, and being willing to stick your toes in the water. So I'll ask each one of you right now, have you already started your business, or are you thinking about it? And wherever you are, if you've already started it, are you happy with the progress you made, and what are the next steps that you want to take? What is the next thing that you want to do? And I call that putting your toes in the water. I don't want you to make a major leap, jump in, and stand the chance of drowning. No, that won't serve our needs. But I do want you to think about what is the next little step that you can take to help you get business started. Some of you may have an interest in franchising. That is purchasing a name, a business plan for someone, a franchise, such as a fast food place. So many franchises are out there, everything from pet setting to sewing schools. But franchising can be very, very good, or it can be very, very bad. You got to be very careful and very smart. So I'll say this to you. A huge percentage of people that are offering and selling franchises are crooks. They're in it to get a lot of money from you and give you a lot of promises and a lot of blue sky encouragement but after it's all over with, they ended up with your money and you end up with virtually nothing. There's a lot of folks out there doing that. There are a few folks out there that are very trustworthy and very good at what they're doing, and indeed can offer and help you get a very good franchise up and running, provided you've got a pretty deep pockets and a lot of business savvy. The word here is, do not enter into any franchise agreement or spend one penny towards a franchise agreement until you have talked with a really good and experienced business coach, someone that's familiar with where you're going in this thing, and has helped you satisfy yourself that this is a good and safe investment. More times than not, after you go through that process, it will not be a good and safe investment. We got to become legal at some point. And that doesn't mean you've been doing anything legal before, because you can operate as a sole entrepreneur, a sole proprietorship, and you don't have to become incorporated to do business and remain legal. But with different tax and insurance issues that come into play, sometimes you are better off to move right ahead to become legal. A lot of things are involved in that. However, I want to tell you right now, to become a corporation, it is not as difficult as many of you think. We talk about a number of different ways to do it. Most, and I would almost say 99% of all the new businesses that I've been involved in helping get started through this work at the Academy and with the small business centers, most everyone is going to start an LLC in today's world. Unless you are going to start a large, huge manufacturing company or something larger than just a small business. The LLC stands for Limited Liability Corporation. It's very popular. It covers most of the bases for all startup businesses. Very inexpensive to get started.
I'm sorry, Steve. Limited Liability Company.
Is that what it is?
Yes,
Not
sir.
Corporation? Well, thank you for the correction. All right. Do you have any comment on that? Greg, do you have anything else you want to say about that?
No. It's just that's a common thing that it sounds easy and everything, but it's an LLC is a hybrid kind of thing, and since it's filed with the Secretary of State, people assume that you're filing as a corporation, but it is not. You wind up having to do an operating agreement, and a lot of people don't know about that. They know they need to file their articles of organization.
Right.
And they think they're corporate articles, but they're articles of organization. And you have to have an operating agreement that you keep for yourself, much as a nonprofit, for instance, would have a set of bylaws. Don't forget about that, folks. If you're going to do an LLC, you need to do an operating agreement. And it's not something you need to turn in to anybody, but you need to have it in your files. I'm going to leave you alone, Steve.
There you go. See, that's why it's good to stay in touch with these directors. They know stuff that the rest of us don't, and I'm glad to get that feedback. But here's where I want to tell you now. Just because you have an LLC, maybe to give you some protection for your personal assets, and a lot of people, that's the second sentence they talk about, those protection only applies in civil matters. It has nothing to do with criminal matters. So things can work out well or not so well, but you're going to be responsible for what your company does or your corporation does, whether it's an LLC or not. You got to know that you got to face the risk and make some tough decisions. So as your enterprise moves on forward and such, you'll be in a position to affect a lot of lives. And it's important that you are taking the steps to put risk management tools in place so that if something does go wrong, a wreck or a fire or an accident, that the damages will not put you out of business, and you can cover your exposures very well. So talk with someone that when you're ready to move in this direction to get your LLC or some other type of corporation standing, so that you have an understanding of what's going on. The Small Business Center directors, accountants, and lawyers are good places to get that advice. Number 7, one of the most important challenges that you will have getting your businesses started is setting up your timelines, determining priorities, and then knowing how to delegate some work to other people to help you get moving. If you are determined to do everything with your own two hands, then that you're automatically saying to me or anyone else, this is going to take a lot longer than if you're willing to delegate some of these functions to other people. But there's not so many hours in a day, and you're probably busy already. So if you don't crank up something brand new, I just want to tell you the simple truth. If you're not planning on working all day and all night and every weekend, then it is time to find someone to help you, because it's important that if it's going to happen, someone's actually got to be there to do it. If you've already got a full-time job, it's going to be very hard for you to move it forward. Complying with local laws is not as difficult as it may seem. Every incorporated town in North Carolina has a website now, and at those websites they list down all about their city government. They list their code of ordinances about what rules you do and do not, what rules you have to apply to, where to get your registrations, all the information. So complying with local laws, unless you are a healthcare provider or someone selling food or something directly related along those lines, is not as complicated as many people think it might be. But you do have things you have to work out for and be careful for, like your zoning rules, your fire standards, advertising rules. So there's things that you will have to comply with local laws, and it's better that you read and learn about it up front than wait till someone comes around and telling you got a fine or you don't have to tear something down. Go to the websites, every town, donenorthcarolina.com or government. Every town's got that website. All you got to do is type it in, and then you can read from there. As you get started, pretty much everyone's going to have an employee identification number. When you were born, you were given a social security number, right? Every individual's got a social security number. When you birth a business, every business is going to have an EIN number when you move along the way to actually becoming sustainable. You will want to get that EIN number so that you will qualify you to get a business checking account, to do anything in your business name, to find suppliers that's going to work with you, anything tax issues. This employer identification number will always come up. You can get that at no charge at the IRS website online. You get that yourself, and you want to do that. Do you need an employer identification number, whether or not you're incorporated or whether or not you have an LLC? The answer is yes. You will need that. Let me turn this phone down. I'm sorry, I usually remember that. Okay, so you will want to get that. It's an important part. Everything that you do walking down the road towards getting your business started, everyone professional is going to ask you for your employee identification number. Frequently asked tax questions related to resale tax and sales tax accounts. The North Carolina Department of Revenue is very user-friendly at their website, and also they have local offices that will help every entrepreneur answer their questions related to state taxing. And I can say to you that in North Carolina, we're very fortunate to have generally a great group of people that look forward to helping entrepreneurs. I have this slide here to let you know there is pretty much no fear there. You want a good relationship with the NCDOR because you're going to have to be doing relationship work with them. Business permits and license and registration forms. Go to your local city, county, clerk's office, get all the information that you want to get, and your local small business centers directors will be able to point you in the right direction there as well. Matter of fact, they may even have packets already for you. Business registration is a simple form. This is one we use in Dunn for my company. It's not a big thing. Basically, I pay them, I think it's $35 a year, and they send me this certificate. Why do you need to do this? You need to do it to protect yourself from other scoundrels, to keep people from doing business in your name and your local community. But also, if people are registered, that means that the folks doing business in town are at least meeting the minimum qualities of the city government and are just not blowing through and setting up on street corners, taking advantage of your customers and not paying the proper taxes or abiding by the codes. So yes, you do want to have a business registration. Greg's organization, the Small Business Center Network, stretches across North Carolina, and they've got a really fine website. So if you want to make a note up here at the top of the screen, ncsbc.net has a world of information about training and resources and services and counseling that you can get. If you haven't visited that website, I'd encourage you to do it, because everything from frequently asked questions to many subjects will come up. And they're written in such a language that are easily understood, so that they can be a great help to you. So let me encourage you to visit that website as well. Where you don't operate the business now? Where? At home? You don't start at home and then go out and work. You don't work from home, or you don't have a retail bricks and mortar business, a storefront. As we said earlier, each one of those is important for you to understand the category of business that you're going to have, so that we can build a business plan and you can do a marketing plan that will suit each one of these. What are you going to be selling? So I got to ask you this to help motivate you. What are you going to be selling, and can you sell it? That means that you have the sales skills. Have you had training in sales and merchandising and marketing to help you sell it? Next, will that customer actually buy it? Do you have it priced out? Do you have it worked out so that you can sell it at a price that people will buy it and that will allow you to make a profit? Who are your best potential customers? Have you thought about that and actually written them down? Where do they live? What's the gender? What's the location, the community, the area, the region that these people are at? Why do you want to know that? Because you want to know who and where they are, so that you can build a marketing plan to reach them with the least amount of money and bring in the best results. Now, how many people can you reach through the media? It's important that you understand that your marketing plan is designed to reach not everybody in the whole world, but we don't direct our marketing plan to target groups so that they will be those people that will be most likely to come and do business with you right away. Chapter 11 talks about marketable profit centers. Those are the things that we talked about earlier, the different things you're doing in business that will bring you in a different income. How many marketable profit centers do you want in your business? I always say at least 5. But there's 3 different types, and we'll talk about those a little later, and you want at least 1 of each type. Type 1 marketable profit center is one that's designed to bring in new customers and to promote daily traffic. Why do we need new customers? Why do we need to put so much focus on it? Well, it's easy. It makes common sense that if you've got a brand new business, you've got to have all the new customers you can get. But let's say that you've been in business a while. I don't tell you that you're going to lose at least 1/3 of your customers every year. At least 1/3. So just to stay even, we've got to constantly bring in new customers. To know that we've got that base covered, that means in our business plan and in our marketing that we always know that we're offering something that has a really good chance to attract new customers and to promote daily traffic. If you're running a convenience store, your profit centers, number 1, to bring in new customers, would be maybe the price of gasoline, because we all know that changing the price of gasoline 1 penny can make a difference in how many customers come in each day. How about this price? This was done last year, and prices are almost double what they were last year this time. But good news is they're coming down. Also, if you got a convenience store, if you do lottery tickets, as the bonus gets up, as the payout gets bigger, at your store with lottery tickets, have a lot more business every day. So that's the main reason that these convenience stores sell gas and lottery tickets, because they make very little money on them, but it brings in customers to the business. And when you bring in customers to the business, they will buy other things that you have. Your fast food businesses are all about having a $5 meal. Yeah, they do a lot of advertising, so many of them with $5 meals, because that after that customer every day to come in, here's a KFC $5 meal. McDonald's is always going to have a $5 meal. They don't promote it to bring customers in. So list your profit centers for new customers. Seriously, list what you're going to have that is going to be very attractive to new customers and that will promote daily traffic. Number 2, the second type of marketable profit center is those things that will create repeat business, usually merchandise purchases, and these are going to be at higher profit margins, because your type 1 for new customers was very low, slim margins, because you had to keep the price down to beat the competition. But now we got to make some money somewhere along the line, so let's indeed have some profit centers that promotes retail business and repeat business. At the convenience store, once we got them in the house, then it was the merchandise that created that actual profit center for us. At the fast food store, we all know that maybe we went in there for a $5 meal, but by the time we turn around and leave the counter, we spent $8 or $10. As a matter of fact, the average is $9 now for everyone, including those that came in for a $9 meal. So what they did was they increased the profit center type 2 to make a lot more profit on what they were doing. At a convenience store, they get you in the house with the type 1 profit centers, so that you can select from type 2 these merchandising racks, where the profit centers are running 2 to 3 to 400%. At the parts business, why do dealerships have parts stores? Because the dealership profit center number 1 are new cars, but they make very small amount of money on new cars, but they want to get you in a store so you can buy parts and accessories, or whether you buy tires. List your profit center number 2s. What are they? It's important as you put them on the list, because each one of them will end up in your business plan. And now, finally, profit center number 3 is all about making big ticket sales, making package and bundle deals, or having high-priced items. What I want you to think about is, would you rather go to the store and make a $5,000 deposit or a $500 deposit? Well, of course, $5,000 will make us a lot more happier, right? In your business, as in mine, if you don't plan to have some big ticket sales, they won't happen. So let's start right now from day 1 thinking about how we can bring our products together and our profit centers together so that we can have some high-priced items, some package deals, all about being a big ticket sale. The larger the numbers are, the greater percentage of chance you don't have to put away some profits into your rainy day fund to cover unexpected expenses. Now, some of you, as I do, enjoy going to Smithfield Barbecue and Chicken. There you can get that $5 meal, no doubt. Always get a good sandwich and fries for $5. But I want you to look at their menu. When you leave there, we're always going to spend $10 or more, even though we went in for that $5 sandwich. That's the way it works. That's profit center number 2. But when you look at their menu board up there, you'll see that even at Smithfield Barbecue, You can do some big ticket items as well. Look here, $100, $169, $369, big ticket sales, because they are figured out that I need to package my products in such a way to bring in some big ticket, high deposit items. The question for you is, how are you going to do this in your business to do what Smithfield does? The phone companies are all about bundling stuff to get you a bigger monthly payment, right? Allstate Insurance says if you can combine, you can save up to 25%. It's called bundling. So my challenge to you is today is to start thinking about what will be your marketable profit centers designed to bring in big ticket sales. We said earlier that you can't just stand alone and have a business, and that's very true. You don't have to have, if you got a big dream, then I want to tell you is just get ready to start to delegate jobs, delegate functions to employees and to other staff. Think about who you're going to need and how you're going to get there. I've been able to manage a business now for 15 years, my internet business. I do 90% of the work right by myself, and I work a lot of hours. I could use some help always, but then there are times that I've got plenty of time to do what I've got to do. But I always know that I'm ready to hire virtual assistants, bookkeeper, some mechanics, some drivers, and delegate other works to other people. Think about your job and what people you're going to need to delegate, and start bringing that back to number one slides that we did, a good team that you can trust. You might have to bring in lawyers, a CPA, someone to help you get your QuickBooks set up. You might have to have a printer or a graphic designer to help you, a virtual secretary, administrative person, and definitely computer related items, someone to help you with your hardware, and then maybe someone to help you with your software as well. Just know that this is going to happen. If you say unto yourself, I don't do all this myself, then I might want to say to you to consider, if you're doing all this work yourself, then who's actually getting your business started? While you're doing all that, who's out here after new customers? If you're doing all this yourself, who's actually on the phone making sales calls and doing what you need to do to bring in revenue? Please know that sometimes you're so much better off to hire someone that knows exactly what they're doing to help you get started. In the long run, it may have cost you some money to start, but in the long run, it was the best money you could invest. Now, for those that are having daycare centers or businesses that require lots of employees, we're going to have to hire some employees. And one of the programs that I give is how to find and hire and keep the very best employees. So that might be a handout that you asked me to send to you, a study guide, and I'll be glad to do it. Just go to your chat board, and anything that you would like for an email to you, just type it right in the chat board and make sure that your email address is listed there. Also, I want you to list down your hometown and what type of business that you're starting. But when it comes to hiring employees, I want to tell you that we hear on the news every day that everyone's got a job that wants a job. Unemployment level is really, really low right now. But here you are starting a new business and you need some help. Well, the right people are out there for you. It's just a matter of finding them, and it may take some time to do that. But know that when you bring somebody on board, is put them on board just for a week or two, call it a trial area. No strings attached for you to keep the relationship going, or maybe to set them free if it doesn't work out. I encourage you not to cheap out, and that is to try to hire people for far below what they're worth to your company, or far below what it's going to take them to make ends meet. If you have someone that comes in at a really low paid, you bottomed out with them, there's a good chance that they, number one, will not stay because they're not happy or they can't make ends meet, or they just think that you're taking advantage of them. If you have someone on board with you that is grossly underpaid, they will be stealing from you. Maybe it's not stealing money out of your cash register, but they will be stealing morale from your organization. They will be stealing a good relationship with your customers if they're not feeling good about working for you. So find out what someone needs salary-wise. If you can pay them, that's great. Make sure that they're pulling their weight, and then have that trial period so that if they're not being profitable to you, that you can make a change. Make sure that when you're hiring someone or that you're going to work for someone, that y'all know exactly what's expected, exactly the hours that you're expected to be there, so that there's no room for misunderstandings down the road. New folks in business who have never hired people before sometimes leave too much vague and too many unanswered questions. Say, well, we'll work that out as we go. Well, that working it out as you go means stressful type stuff. It's better to work out as many details as you can before you bring someone on board. Money, 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 money. We got to talk about these startup costs, right? What's it going to cost to get this business started? Well, again, in your handouts, we're emailing to you a list of 50 businesses that you can start with $100 or less. And there's many, many more. That handout can be very important to you to give you good ideas on how to do this and that, or maybe how to add profit centers to your business. But you're going to learn very quickly that this money that you're going to start your business with, if it's coming out of your household budget, then that's going to get real serious real quick. Because maybe instead of having ice cream for the kids or for an extra night out, that you can't do that anymore because you're putting some extra money into business, therefore the home life is suffering. That's why it's really important is you have an upfront conversation with your family. Let them know that things may be a little different or that you're going to need some help in doing some certain things. So I suggest to you that after you come up with starting your list of startup costs, that you hold a family meeting and talk about how things may be changing as you're starting this new business. Give them a heads up, and then they're going to be more likely to support you and help you along the way. Your investments will change with every different type of business. Now, here's a picture of a truck. Y'all know what kind of truck that is? It travels over all of eastern North Carolina, even up into the mountains. That's a truck that's carrying fish, baby fish, from the hatcheries up to the different ponds and lakes and mountains across the state. Well, to get any business started, you're going to have to spend a little bit of money. So let's think about, here's an example of a startup cost for a small trucking company. Just putting one truck on the road. To get this rolling, this seller is going to have to come up with $13,000 just to get on the road. This is out of pocket, generally cash money. It may change a little bit with different circumstances, with the big lick here being $8,500. That may change. But a lot of truckers tell me it's spot on. You want to get your business started, you don't have to make a list of what it's going to take to get it started. Notice in this startup cost, I didn't list the truck at the cost of the truck and the trailer, but just the money that it's going to take to keep it going and get it on the road to begin with. The truck and the trailer would be a different item in your business plan. But don't be surprised as the numbers add up real big, real quick. Now, if you haven't done this before and you're just thinking, you want Greg or I to help you with it, you write down your list of the startup costs that you know you've got. Tell us the type of business you're thinking about getting started with. We'll be glad to review it for you and let you know back what changes you might need to make or what else you might need to think about. Chapter 13, borrowing money at the bank. My friends, it's easy to say you can borrow money here and there, but as a new business person, as an entrepreneur, as someone that's starting a brand new business, it's going to be very difficult for you to go to the bank and borrow money in your new business name. If you've got a healthy deposit at the bank, if you've got good collateral, you got an excellent credit ratings, probably be fairly easy for you to borrow money at the bank. But don't think that the banker is going to loan you money on your new company. They just don't do it. They will loan you money and maybe bring the company into play, but they're going to know that they're going to get their money elsewhere if the company doesn't make it. We have to go through all the hoops and jumps to put together our resumes and our credit statements and our loan requests. But I'm telling you right now, unless you've got some really particular good things going on, don't expect the affirmative answer from a local bank for anybody that hasn't been in business for at least 2 years. It's very difficult to do. So what do you do?
Steve, excuse me.
Go ahead.
I don't have the slides on my screen, and I've been trying to reply to a couple of people in the chat, and looks like I'm locked out for some reason. So could you check and see my
what do you is what you do just see me?
I see all the participants that are live, but I did not see your slide show.
How about that?
And as I try to reply to someone in the chat, I'm just seeing a red lock. So I'm sure they're not getting it. Is it just me? Is everybody else seeing the slides?
This is Samantha. I'm not seeing the slides either.
Oh, my gracious. How about that? Well, thank you so much for interrupting. I've got a different software. Free conference call has changed the startup menu here.
It looks different than it did before. So
yeah, let's see what I've got here.
I've been trying to reply to a couple of people, who are talking about the handouts and everything. So I'll take this opportunity while he's trying to recoup that, and let everybody know that I will be sending the handouts after the session. We've had trouble with people popping in and popping out, and we're sending them information but we're not getting any kind of feedback or credit from them. Like I asked you to please fill out the evaluation. I will send you the evaluation along with the handouts after the session. But the program has to send me a copy of the participants and their ID. So those of you, for Steve said, you're showing up as unidentified, you have to identify yourself in order to receive follow-up after the session, or we won't be able to count you as a participant or provide you with the materials that we'd like to give you. So please make sure we've got a name and an email address for you.
You know what, Greg, before all I had to do was hit screen share and my slides came right up.
They keep messing around with these things and trying to make each one better. We've been having problems with Zoom platforms as well. I can't wait till we get back in the classrooms. What about the rest of you? How do you feel about starting to get back in these classrooms? And I know COVID has put some fear in us, and rightly so, but I'd really like to be able to sit down and get that vibe.
I'm doing my share button, and it's not giving me the option to show my PowerPoint now. Let's just see.
All right, the straight-out presentation is great.
What do you have now? Anything?
I've got your desktop.
The whole thing?
But there's a thing that says hide video panel at the top. Yeah, I've got your whole desktop, all of your icons.
How about now? No change?
Same thing.
All right, that means I need to go to a different. We're going to beat this thing, guys. Forgive me.
I see your cursor.
You do?
It's in red on the left, next to your seminar folder, and a couple of things up there to the near the top left. Ah, there you go.
What do you have?
Chapter 13, to borrow money at the bank.
Are the little icons showing over on the left-hand side?
Up at the top, I can see PowerPoint slideshow, August 23rd, Kinston.
You don't see my cursor?
I do now.
Now?
But I see your screen also in the background. So you want to maybe maximize this? Or do you want...
How are we doing now?
I think that's fine right there. What do you all think? Better?
Well, thank you so much, Greg. I appreciate it.
Told you I'd be the man till the man showed up.
Wow, this is crazy. All right. How about over on the right-hand side? Is the participants list showing?
Yes, can still see the chat list.
Okay. I've
got it on chat. When I click on attendees, I got that too. So that's all working, but now we have, or I do have the slide, chapter 13 slide.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll move forward, and I'll let y'all know when I give this again so you get the slides again. So now let's talk about being the big kahuna. Change it now. You don't have to look at me. You're going to be able to see some slides, hopefully. The big kahuna over in the Polynesian world is the person who knows all there is to know about any particular subject. Well, as a new entrepreneur in a new business, we're about as far as being the big kahuna as we can be. But I do want to tell you that it's important for you to know who the big kahuna is. In other words, whatever business you're starting, a daycare center in Charlotte, or selling cars or used cars in Kinston, or a tractor dealership in Goldsboro, or a restaurant in Asheville, look at the local market. Look at the people that's going to be your competitors. Find out who is doing what you want to do the best. Find out who most customers consider the best in your business in their area. And then go there yourself. Scope them out. Investigate. Study them. Find out what they're doing really good. Know them well enough to find out what they're not doing so good. Because they have the skills, the proven skills, that you want to have. So this isn't me saying to you, I want you to copy somebody, or I don't want you to do things on your own, but I am saying to you, it is crazy for us as brand new entrepreneurs to try to reinvent the wheel for the first time just to start our little enterprise when other people are doing it quite well. And if you'll take the time to see what the other folks are doing well and learn from their lessons, it will save you tons of money and time and help you get started quicker. I spend a lot of time every day, a few minutes every day, at least going surfing on the internet and checking out what my competitors are doing. And when I have a customer that mentions something new to me, I'll go check it out. That is a part of you never are so smart that you can't learn something. Humility is a major part of success, my friends, because you got to be open to learn new things. So we want to outsmart the big kahuna, outmarket him, outsell him, and offer better offerings to our customers, like with these profit centers that we're talking about. And part of staying in business is knowing how to dodge those bullets. Let me tell you, in business, there's somebody throwing a fastball at your head every day, and you've got to be smart enough to know how to dodge it to stay in business every single day for decades after decades. Surround yourself, again, third time I mentioned this because it's so important. Surround yourself with some advisors and mentors that have your best interest in mind and don't have a vested interest in something for yourself. To have someone you can talk to and share with about ideas that can be open and frank with you. Folks that are members of the Academy work with me every day with their Small Business Center directors. open your heart and open your mind to having that type of relationship with people that you can trust. And so one reason I've always feel good about recommending these small business centers is that I know those directors are duty bound and sworn to keep confidential what you share with them. We have a lifetime of experiences and skills that we're happy to share. Maybe everything won't suit you, maybe all our advice won't be taken, but it's good to have that sounding board and do that. When you do that and you have that experience, then you're going to understand why it's important to know who your competition is, because you're either going to get the money out of these people's pocket or they're going to get it. It's going to be one or the other. So that competition, we want to know them top to bottom, their strengths, their weaknesses, their anxieties, and their marketing strategies. Figure out how to do it, and then down at the bottom, you don't figure out how to outlast them. So who is your largest threat in doing business? Who is the largest threat that you have in doing business? Chapter 17. The most dangerous threat that I have in my business life, and that I know that you have, whether you know it or not, is our ability to fight distractions. There's plenty of business out here for all of us. But what are we doing in our life to get the right priorities set up that we're going to go after it? I'm a busy guy, and when I take on a new project, that means something that I have been doing prior to now has to be set aside. We have to put the new priorities in place if we're going to go to new places in our business. So setting the right priorities that help us fight distractions is the right way to fight the biggest threat that we have. So I asked each and every one of you, Cynthia and Amber, Tanita, what are you doing? What can you possibly do to change maybe your daily schedule, to plug in some time, to create time to take your business to the next level? And this is hard. You may be looking after 3 or 4 children. You may be the primary caregiver for a loved one, and that's a 36-hour job. Maybe your business right now, you're already working 10 hours a day or more, but you still want to get this new business up and running. I know it's tough. And I can tell you, you ought to do this and you need to do that, and I'm always doing that as a motivator. But I also know we have to be real. So sometimes we can't do it all at one time, but I want to encourage you to at least change some of your priorities so you start working in building some skills or getting some business plans in place to make the process start. This past year, Greg, I mentioned to you, I've been doing this for 15 years now, but this past year, I have noticed that about 7 of our entrepreneurs have actually seen their business come to be real. And of these, every one of them have been involved in these classes for over 5 years. It is not something that usually happens overnight. Unless you've already got something started when you start attending these classes, I want to be frank with you. It takes a while to get a business up and running. And to do it, to ever see it happen, it all gets back to I made one step that made a difference, and then I made a second step, and I kept going. So I'm telling you can't do this overnight, but you can do it over a period of time. And keep building your skills, keep adding one step at a time, and you can get there. Part of doing this is able to find and catch and keep customers. I was able to help one of our entrepreneurs 2 weeks ago actually get a job for his transportation company. One of my customers had a need. I knew that he was a hauler. I put the 2 of them together, and that made things happen. Finding and catching and keeping customers is all about relationships. It's about knowing where they are and keeping an open mind, keeping a database, remembering this person needs this and this person does that, and putting folks together. So how do you find customers? You help them find you. So that gets back to having a marketing plan that's really working. How do you keep customers. You have a diversified group of products so that a number of different people can do business with you. And how do you find and keep customers? You have to take risk. You have to take risks. You have to spend some money in marketing. But I want to tell you that I don't want you to waste a penny of it. And in our marketing training that we can do a lot of for you through Gray's classes, we can show you how to spend money wisely that'll bring you back a return on investment. So your business can't be all things to all people. You might want to think it can be, but it will not. However, if it's going to be sustainable, it must be everything to some people. And being everything to some people means that some of those people will become regular, devoted, raving fan customers. Let's say that again together. Our business cannot be all things to all people. It must be everything to some people. Now, I would challenge you to determine who those some people are, and then they will become our target groups of customers in niche markets. Those are the people that we will include in our database. First time I've used that word, but database is going to be very important for a sustainable business. Because once we have that database, we can start sending continuous promotions to them by email, through social media, lots of different ways. But all this comes in the line. None of it will happen by itself. It all has to be put together so that you can follow up on every sale that you make by keeping a good database and staying in touch with your customers. You can't be all things to all people, but you can be everything to some people, and for those some people, we're going to stay in touch with them. Maybe you haven't decided just yet what you want to name your business. That's an exciting thing to do. I've always been encouraged to, and I had a good time naming a business, naming my boats through the years, naming pets, naming children. Naming is an exciting thing to do. Now, I want to tell you that in the naming, the fun of naming in your business can be your actual business corporate name. It can be your website name, which is called a domain name. And then each one of your DBAs, have you heard that term before? DBA, doing business as. Each one of your doing business names can become a private label name. So you might have one business that has a large group of names related to it. My business, Fast Forward Services Incorporated, probably has as many as 20 different DBAs related to it. And each one of those DBAs is designed to bring in a different group of customers. Yeah. And as you get into this, you'll learn how important that can be for you. So DBAs are related to trademarks and things like that. So to begin with, here's what I need to tell you. You can go to the North Carolina Secretary of State website. And at that website, under the corporate division of the website, there's a place you can see the name of every business in North Carolina, and there's a line there that you can type in the name that you might want your business to be, and that website will tell you automatically if it's already taken. Maybe you're planning on calling your business Carver Vegetable Company, and when you type that in, if someone else already has that name, it'll tell you that, tell you where they are and who they are, as a matter of fact, or it'll tell you available. And therefore, you will know if this is something that you can use as an option. So that's some time that you want to do at the Secretary of State's office. But I don't want you to spend a lot of time looking for a domain name at GoDaddy.com or other places that tell you what domain names are. I want you to have a really good idea of 5 or 6 or 7 options for the different website names you want to use before you go, and do not just stay on there all the time checking and rechecking domain names, because every time someone shows an interest in a new name, there are companies out there that will buy those names, raise the price of them, so that when you are ready, you'll be paying 5 or 10 times the amount that you ought to. Most new business names that you would use as your domain to name your website, you're able to buy or rent. You're actually able to rent them for up to 3 years at generally around $15 to $30 a year. So it's not a big expense to do unless you're getting something that's kind of weird or different. I've got a handout, a study guide I'll be glad to share with you on naming your businesses. Matter of fact, it's part of what will come to you from Greg. Do you need a business plan? Yes. Do you need a business plan? Yes. Some type of business plan, whether it's a 6-month planner, a small business plan, or a full-fledged business and marketing plan. You need it to help you avoid pitfalls and unexpected expenses. Let me tell you, there are plenty of pitfalls and unexpected expenses out here. I've been doing this kind of work now for 60 plus years, and I learn things and make mistakes every day. People who have never been there before will make more mistakes than you do things right. But one of the things you can do right is to get a business plan in place and do a little learning. And that's where these seminars and webinars can be so valuable for you. Chart your first course of year's action. In other words, list down what you hope to achieve and what date you're going to do it. We're going to list down the profit centers that we talked about. On each profit center, we're going to determine what the possible income would be from that. With each profit center, we're going to try to determine what our cost is going to be. Therefore, we'll have a good idea of what our profit margins are. So let's say that you're thinking about making a product that you're going to sell for $100, and it's going to cost you $80 to make it. That means you're going to make $20 every time you sell that product, right? Well, $20 multiplied times whatever figure it is will give you a gross amount of profit that you're going to get in. But it's not profit, it's margin. The profit, the business plan is going to give you a good idea of how many of those $20 items you're going to need to sell in a given period of time to end up with any money to put in your pocket. Just saying, oh man, I can make $20 every time I sell one of these. Well, that sounds really great, but the key is, how many do you need to make before you make it a living, or you're making enough to keep a business alive? That's what business plans and business planners are going to help you do. It's also going to give you a really good idea with vendors and investors and potential employees. Have you done your homework? Are you really ready to start this business, or do you need to do a lot more work? It'll tell you before it tells anyone else, so that you can have all this covered before you go public with it. And again, so confidentiality becomes important again. You don't want to show your business plan to the world, or to an investor, or to a banker, or to a potential vendor until it's ready to show, except with the people that you're working with. I'm happy to be one of those people. Greg's happy to be one of those people. Your other folks that are going to serve you as counselors would be. But you just don't need to go out here on the internet or amongst your friends and start sharing business plan ideas until you got it pretty much ready to go and in a presentable way. I want to say to you that in your business, I do not want you to give discounts. Well, that sounds kind of crazy, because we all know discounting is a major part of merchandising, right? But I don't want you to give any discounts unless you planned to give those discounts. A planned discount is just fine and good business. But just having a discount because you're trying to get rid of something and it's whatever it takes to get rid of it, that's not very good business. You have to consider your cost of doing business. You have to consider what your bottom dollar and your cash price is. And then you need to have added in there enough room to give some discounts, to give some trade-ins, to do some negotiating. So we teach at our seminars and webinars how to put pricing plans together. Matter of fact, Greg has us coming back either in September or October doing a whole program, afternoon program on how to price your products and services. A lot to be learned there. But I will always say to you, yes, you have to discount in a lot of businesses, but no, you don't have to give discounts you didn't plan to give. And it's important that you understand this lesson very carefully. So we're going to bring this in for a landing now. First of all, I apologize for not having the slides up here for you before now. I'll be able to share with you another recording that we did that has all the slides. So if you want to do that, we'll do that, and I'll send that to you by email. But it's so important that you try to follow through with your plan, make notes, do what you need to do. And in starting a business, if this is the first time, and several of you have told me that this is the first time you've ever been to one of our webinars, I want to say, first of all, thank you. God bless you. We wish you the very best, and we are here to help you in every way that we can. When you start a business, you have a potential to make major contributions to the community, to show the world that you are a good person, that you're trying to do best, that you've got a lot of smarts, and you got determination, and that new word we're going to be using in 2023 is you got the endurance to see it through. But I always want you to try to keep your principles in front of your profits. You don't have a lot of choices to make as you start your business. Let me encourage you right now to take the high road every time you can. You will not regret it. Sometimes the high road means making the decisions where you'll make a little less money, but you'll be doing the right thing. Be the best person that you can be. Treat other people the way that you want to be treated. And I'll tell you, you'll be rewarded tenfold year after year after year. It never is a bad idea to be a good person. Take a lot of pride in what you're doing. Yeah, pride is kind of messy sometimes, but there's not a thing wrong with you being careful enough so that at the end of the day, you can have a legacy that you're proud to look back on. And more importantly, the people that know you as being trustworthy with a discretion and some wisdom, and you did all you can to hold up the highest ethical standards, putting your principles in front of your profits. It will make a major difference in the way your whole community looks at you and your family and what you think of yourself. So how do you get that started? These mission, vision, and promise statements is the best way to get this started to help keep your principles before your profits. I'll send you some other samples of these mission, vision statements. And I want to encourage you, even from day one, as you're thinking about getting your business started, is to have something in writing that you can be proud of and share with your customers. I started doing that in my business. I'll be sharing that with in future preferences or in an email. And from day one, I had customers that responded back and said, this is pretty impressive, and I'm glad to see that someone has the courage to do that. But more importantly than what my customers are saying back to me is, every time that I put that statement on a quotation and I send it out, I'm saying to myself, Steve, you need to live up to this. So if you're using it every day and it's in front of you every day, I'll tell you by personal experience that means you will be doing your best to apply it every day. And don't make it so tough that you don't hang yourself with them, but try your very best to put a mission, vision statement in front of your customers all the time, so that they know that you're out here trying to keep your principles ahead of your profits. Your acquaintances and your family, the whole community will be so proud that you did that. And is your business going to have you, the owner of it, known as a giver or a taker? That term is used a lot in the world today, givers and takers. And each person may have their different definition of it, but are you, in your own eyes, going to be that giver or taker? Your legacy is being chronicled every day. Everybody's taking notes, and you're taking notes of yourself. The freedoms that you're given by owning a business is freedoms that other people don't have. And that's what people really notice. Those people that are free to do things, the rest of the world is saying, what are you doing? Are you creating and developing ideas that are actually making tangible benefits and good things happening for others, or not? And if you are, you're a giver. But if you're just out here to see how much profit and money you can take out of the world, then you're a taker. You may end up being a billionaire. But is that the success that you want? Did you make your billions by taking it from other people? or did you make it by giving it to other people and getting a return on that investment that you made? That's your choice to make. But how do you do that? What determines the factors? It's the first impressions you make. Are you listening to people? Do you try to hear what they're saying to you? Are you there to see and be seen at appearances so that people will know that you care about your business and its reputation? Do you have membership in church groups and service organizations and civic organizations? I want to tell you that in those relationships is where you're going to find your most loyal raving fan customers. When they come to respect you as a leader, they will respect you as a business person. Things like leadership and Toastmasters and small business training seminars are a great place to meet and greet people who have the same interests as you do. I want to encourage you to join your local Chamber of Commerce. At least do it for the first year. You'll be smaller and your dues will be less then. But once you become a member of your local Chamber of Commerce, the great benefits you're going to get is you'll get that list of their names and addresses, what the different types of businesses they're in. You're able to put that information into your database and therefore use it to your advantage. Chamber of Commerce membership is an investment that you can get a good return on that investment. Don't wait till everything is just right, my friends. It's August 2022, and things are as just right now as they're going to be. I can tell you that they're never going to be perfect. Perfect never comes in the business world, but things are pretty darn good right now. We had a series of seminars down in close to you, down in Pamlico County recently, and saw 5 businesses actually crank up and get started and start growing during the time we were holding the seminar courses. So I know that business is good, and people that's got the good products and ready to go for it, it's a good time to start that business. Don't expect things to happen overnight. Take it one step at a time, and things will go well. White knuckles. Are you holding on so tight your knuckles are white? I hope after this afternoon you can relax those knuckles a little bit. Lighten up just a little bit. Stop being afraid to do things to get your business started. Open your hands up and open your minds up. Start attending these webinars and seminars and enjoy the ride. It's a good ride. It's fun. We'll have a good time in the academy, meeting people and watching other people grow, watching other folks make their videos. I want each and every one of you to get really good at making videos because you're going to need them in your business. Yeah, we don't have to hold on so we don't fall off the log, but indeed we can enjoy the ride. We can relax somewhat. And at that point in time that we get to the point that we can say, I have done it. I have had the endurance to see this thing through to the end to have a successful business. That is a great thing to do. I want all of us to be able to relax and enjoy the ride. Hopefully you've been able to relax and enjoy this afternoon. I really do hope that you'll join us for many more. Greg has a full agenda of programs to watch and attend, and I certainly do as well. We can keep you busy. We can actually, between now and Christmas, if you're dedicated to hanging in here, we can give you a master's degree, all that you could hopefully try to learn to help get your business started. If you're willing to come to these classes in the afternoons and at night, I will guarantee you will have a full book, a full journal of business education experiences. And you know how much it's going to cost you? Not one penny. Not one penny. The state of North Carolina is paying the bill for you. So take advantage of it. Imagine with all your mind, believe with all your heart, and achieve with all your might. And by golly, you'll become a successful entrepreneur. And more than that, let your light shine. Smile, be happy, be proud of what you're doing. I want God to bless you and your family, and I want Him to bless your business as well. But you have to let the light shine because it'll help other people see their way as well as with you. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be working with you.